Like there, I talked to Denzel Ward.
Yep.
I talked to some, but I can't say the name. But anyway, I done talked to some people. He looked different. There's a difference when that young bull is out there spinning that ball. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Difference. I'm talking about football. I ain't talking about no media and all that hoopla and all them, on Twitter, they putting up the numbers. Some he with 10 for 12 for 2 touchdowns. I'm talking about when he's at the helm, he looks different. Whether he's going with the first team, second team, or third team. It don't matter.
You think I'm worried about what critics say or what people gotta say? You know who my dad is? They hated on him too. So it's like, it's almost normal. Without people hating, it's not normal for us.
It's the kind of story that makes the internet explode, the group chats go silent, and the haters absolutely fume. Shedeur Sanders, a 5th-round draft pick, a so-called Nepo QB, a 4th-string ghost on the Browns depth chart, just leapfrogged his way into the second team like he hit a real-life Madden glitch. And the response? Pandemonium. Analysts are speechless. Critics are choking on their hot takes.
What is it going to take for you to just buy in to Shedeur Sanders when players all around him are telling you how different he looks, how good he looked, how he just has that aura to him? Because it seems like all the players that are around Shedeur Sanders have nothing but great things to say about him and love him. Because again, he clearly just looks different than the rest of the competition that we've seen. And like I said, the last time I've seen guys go for or say things about a certain player like that, it was Baker Mayfield. So could 12 be that guy? How long until we see 12? Because I feel like it's just a matter of time.
Browns fans? They're buying number 12 jerseys like it's Black Friday. But to really understand the seismic shock of Shedeur Sanders' promotion, you've got to rewind the tape and look at the full playbook, the messy pre-draft drama, the mini camp masterpiece, and the locker room lore that turned a doubted backup into Cleveland's brightest hope. Back in early 2025, Shedeur Sanders wasn't just overlooked, he was outright dismissed. Drafted in the 5th round by the Cleveland Browns, he came into the league with more question marks than endorsements. While Caleb Williams and Drake May grabbed headlines and Heisman-level hype, Sanders was slapped with the system QB label. Critics claimed he only shined in college because of his dad, the legendary Deion Primetime Sanders, who coached him at Jackson State and then Colorado.
I see some balls coming out of Shedeur Sanders at that game, and I'm like, kind of looks like a guy.
Yeah, I'm reading.
He can sling it.
I see him, some of the veterans, how they talk to him, mic'd up, see what he's doing in the community.
Yep.
You talking about Njoku there?
Joku, Mike Napier. Once you see, different little interactions and things like that, I know he has the talent. We'll see. It'll be a competition that usually brings the best out of guys, especially young guys. So I'm interested to see how that quarterback situation.
I've heard he's been outstanding.
Some scouts whispered that his draft stock fell because he was difficult in interviews. Others blamed a non-traditional agent setup. Sanders reportedly used a family-run advisory team instead of a big-name sports agency, which rubbed old-school GMs the wrong way. And don't forget the Senior Bowl scandal. Word got out that Sanders had skipped team interviews and refused to participate in the 7-on-7 drills. Was it a bad PR move? Maybe. But the result was a free-fall on draft day so awkward, it could have been soundtracked by elevator music. ESPN didn't even show him when the Browns called his name in round 5. One commentator mumbled, "Oh, right, Deion's kid." The vibe? Rough. Meanwhile, social media turned into a roast pit. X, formerly Twitter, was ablaze with memes of Shedeur holding a clipboard next to Joe Flacco in a rocking chair. One post read, "Breaking, Browns draft Shedeur Sanders. QB depth chart now sponsored by Depends." Harsh, but behind the scenes, Shedeur was already plotting his revenge arc.
In the 5th round, all that means nothing when it's time to play football and that whistle blows. He looks different than the rest of the competition. That's what I heard. And I'm talking from a not Brother Ward, I'm just talking about from sources that's in that room, that's on that field, that's playing the sport. Man, come on, man. In the 5th round, all that means nothing when it's time to play football and that whistle blows. He looks different than the rest of the competition.
Fast forward to June 2025. Browns rookie minicamp. Low expectations. High stakes. Shedeur stepped onto that field with the demeanor of someone who had nothing to lose, but everything to prove. And what happened next was, frankly, legendary. He torched the defense. 7 of 9 completions, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. One deep ball to rookie W.R. Jordan Whittington had fans gasping on the sideline. Another throw, a no-look pass over the middle to David Bell, made the highlight reel of every sports outlet from ESPN to House of Highlights within hours. Even Browns OC Ken Dorsey, a notoriously stoic presence, cracked a smile. "That kid's ahead of schedule," he muttered to reporters. The locker room buzz? Deafening. Teammates like Denzel Ward started raving in interviews. "He's got that zip, that presence." That a thing, Ward told Cleveland reporters.
Thing is, they never planned on taking him. The problem is, like Ocho Cinco says, You got somebody that has endeared himself to the locker room. And guess what? The difference between him and Tim Tebow, the biggest one, is he can play. He can throw the ball. Tim Tebow running around being an H-back. He can throw the ball. And he's done everything he needs to do. He ain't saying nothing. He ain't rocking the boat. He ain't mad about the reps. He ain't mad about none of that. All the people out there want to see is this, like Tyver said earlier. We want to see what he can do with Jerry Jeudy.
That's it.
I want to see what he can do with David Njoku. I want to see him with Junkins. I want to see him with the first running backs. If you are cooking, if you are beating down the doors with the 3s and 4s, guess what? You deserve more. That was a bar. It rhymed. It was.
Then came LaShawn McCoy on FS1 Speak, going full hype train. Why's this kid not getting first-team reps? He's the real deal. Stop playing and let him cook. Meanwhile, a leaked mic'd-up clip of David Njoku calling Sanders' throws so pretty I might frame one started trending on TikTok with over 3 million views. Add that to the footage of Sanders organizing a team-wide cookout and dunking on a rookie offensive lineman in a pickup basketball game. Yeah, you read that right, and suddenly, the guy was doing more than earning respect. He was changing the culture, what most fans don't see. The off-field fire that helped ignite Sanders' rise. He was the first guy in the building, the last to leave. He spent late nights watching film with the equipment staff, asking questions, taking notes, and even helping a few practice squad guys study their playbooks. That's not just leadership, that's buy-in, and his mental game? Unshakable. When asked about the critics, he smirked, "I don't prove people wrong, I prove myself right." That quote is now printed on t-shirts across Cleveland. Meanwhile, word started leaking that Flacco was barely practicing, Pickett looked shaky, and Dillon Gabriel, the supposed QB of the future, was struggling to even complete red zone drills. Coaches saw the writing on the wall. Sanders was outperforming everyone in live reps, 7-on-7, and classroom IQ tests. Still, the noise didn't stop. Stephen A. Smith initially dismissed the hype. He's flash. I need substance. 2 weeks later, okay, I was wrong. This kid is special. When you've got a last name like Sanders and the blood of primetime running through your veins, the spotlight doesn't wait, you inherit it. And Shedeur? He's starting to own that spotlight in a way that feels less like a quarterback's rise and more like the birth of a full-blown celebrity. Once Shedeur started slinging no-look passes in camp and silencing his critics, Hollywood came calling, literally. Word leaked that a few sports documentary producers had already reached out to the Sanders family about a Drive to Survive style series following his first NFL season. Streaming giants, including Netflix and Amazon Prime Video, reportedly wanted to tap into the buzz and, of course, get Deion Sanders in front of the camera too. But the moment that truly lit social media on fire? Coco Jones, yes, the rising RB sensation and Disney Channel alum turned chart-topping artist, Coco Jones, was spotted sitting courtside with Shedeur during Game 5 of the Cavs-Pacers series. The cameras caught them laughing, sipping wine, and even sharing headphones. Within hours, Coco x Shedeur was trending on X, with fans dubbing them the next Gen Sierra and Russell. Paparazzi staked out Cleveland's hottest steakhouse, Marble Room, where the pair was seen leaving together after midnight. TMZ slapped up the grainy footage with the headline, Primetime Junior and RB Queen? This date's got game. Was it a publicity stunt? A real connection? Who knows, but one thing was clear, Shedeur had crossed over. He wasn't just a promising QB anymore, he was a cultural figure. Drake even co-signed the moment. After reposting Shedeur's touchdown clip from camp, he captioned it, "Too icy. Might have to lace him in OVO cleats." Fans joked he was building an entire label around the Sanders family. Back in Colorado, even Coach Prime couldn't help but fan the flames. He posted a throwback photo of baby Shedeur in a mini football uniform with the caption, "He always had the game. Now y'all just watching it." Suddenly, Browns games weren't just about football, they were events. Local reporters noted a bump in training camp attendance, especially from younger fans and celebrity watchers. Even sneaker companies started circling. Rumors spread that Nike was eyeing Shedeur for a limited Sanders Legacy Edition cleat. Combining elements from Deion's iconic turf trainers and Shedeur's flashy, minimalist style, when a fifth-round rookie becomes a lifestyle brand before his first snap, that's not hype, that's influence. The Browns QB room started the summer like a crowded rideshare. Flacco, Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and Shedeur, one veteran, one underachiever, one unproven, and one wildcard. The assumption was clear, Shedeur would hold a clipboard, soak up the NFL speed, and maybe toss a pass in garbage time. But Shedeur? He brought starter energy to every rep, and it showed. The buzz around his practices wasn't just media hype, it was internal. Word inside the facility was that assistant coaches were watching Shedeur's tape after hours, texting each other things like, "Yo, do you see the way he reads the edge blitz here?" The defense began noticing too. Veteran DBs tried to rattle him during red zone drills. Trash talk flew. Shedeur didn't bite, he threw dots. The tipping point came. Slapped up the grainy footage with the headline, Primetime Junior and RB Queen? This date's got game. Was it a publicity stunt? A real connection? Who knows, but one thing thing was clear, Shedeur had crossed over. He wasn't just a promising QB anymore, he was a cultural figure. Drake even co-signed the moment. After reposting Shedeur's touchdown clip from camp, he captioned it, "Too icy. Might have to lace him in OVO cleats." Fans joked he was building an entire label around the Sanders family. Back in Colorado, even Coach Prime couldn't help but fan the flames. He posted a throwback photo of baby Shedeur in a mini football uniform with the caption, "He always had the game. Now y'all just watching it." Suddenly, Browns games weren't just about football, they were events. Local reporters noted a bump in training camp attendance, especially from younger fans and celebrity watchers. Even sneaker companies started circling. Rumors spread that Nike was eyeing Shedeur for a limited Sanders Legacy Edition cleat. Combining elements from Deion's iconic turf trainers and Shedeur's flashy, minimalist style, when a fifth-round rookie becomes a lifestyle brand before his first snap, that's not hype, that's influence. The Browns' QB room started the summer like a crowded rideshare. Flacco, Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and Shedeur, one veteran, one underachiever, one unproven, and one wildcard. The assumption was clear. Shedeur would hold a clipboard, soak up the NFL speed, and maybe toss a pass in garbage time. But Shedeur? He brought starter energy to every rep, and it showed. The buzz around his practices wasn't just media hype, it was internal. Word inside the facility was that assistant coaches were watching Shedeur's tape after hours, texting each other things like, "Yo, do you see the way he reads the edge blitz here?" The defense began noticing too. Veteran DBs tried to rattle him during red zone drills. Trash talk flew. Shedeur didn't bite, he threw dots. The tipping point came. The scenes, and he's not alone in this movement. Around the same time Shedeur was promoted, Tyrese Collier, a rookie QB in Kansas City, stepped up for an injured Mahomes and took the Chiefs to the AFC title game. The message, the young guys are ready, stop treating them like interns. Meanwhile, in pop culture, shows like Smoke on Apple TV, starring Taron Egerton as a troubled firefighter uncovering conspiracy in the arson world, were dominating charts, not just because they were good, but because they tapped into that same sense of gritty redemption that Shedeur's story radiates. The cultural overlap is no coincidence. Gen Z doesn't want heroes who are perfect, they want flawed, fiery, real ones. Shedeur, with his chip-on-the-shoulder swagger, famous last name, and undeniable arm talent, is that archetype. Even beyond the field, Sanders is laying a blueprint. He recently donated gear to youth teams in Ohio, echoing his father's community-first mentality. He's hosted Twitch streams breaking down film and inviting fans into the process. He's building a brand that cares while maintaining an edge that keeps you guessing. The NFL isn't just watching, they're evolving around him. This is no longer about a quarterback earning second-team reps. This is a moment in sports where a player becomes a movement, and with Shedeur Sanders in the driver's seat, the game, as we know it, is shifting. Now, the whispers have turned to outright declarations. NFL execs are reportedly tracking Sanders closely. Fantasy football forums are flooded with sleeper picks that include his name. And inside the Browns organization, people aren't asking if Shedeur will start this season. They're asking when. Could it be week 1? A Flacco injury? A Pickett implosion? Either way, the stage is set. This isn't just a feel-good preseason arc, it's a franchise awakening. The Browns haven't had this kind of electricity around a quarterback since, maybe ever. Even Baker Mayfield's brief spark feels small by comparison. Sanders isn't just good, he's magnetic, mature, and built for this era. And with primetime in his corner, Drake in his comments, and Coco Jones maybe in his passenger seat, the NFL might just have its next breakout main character, final drive. So, are the haters still fuming? Yes. Oh yes, the ones who said he was all hype or eating crow on national television. The ones who mocked his draft slide or scrubbing tweets. And the ones who doubted that Deion's son could actually be great. They're realizing, this wasn't nepotism. It was inevitability. Shedeur Sanders didn't just climb the depth chart, he torched it. He walked in as the fourth-string nobody and turned training camp into his own personal highlight reel. The haters can fume all they want, because QB2 just became the most dangerous seed in Cleveland, and if the stars keep aligning, QB1 is just a heartbeat away.